And we are now live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 35 of Sundays with Craven, the live weekly podcast where we always have a good old chinwag, usually about all things shiny. I'm talking about precious metals, silver, gold, so much more. And you guys are always a big part of that conversation. I love to see you guys putting comments in the live chat. I really, really do. So make sure you get involved. If you haven't already, if you enjoy these shows, hit the like button. It really, really does help. So before we do bring in the special guest, which I honestly can't wait to speak to today, it's going to be a really fun episode, guys. So do get comfy, sit back, grab yourself some snacks and relax. It's going to be fun. Before we start, I want to say hello to whoever is in the chat from the start that's come to join us. Who's tuned in? I can see 21 of you already, which is really good to see. So we'll go to the top. We'll give credit where it's due. And see BBA first in. Thank you so much, mate. Always good to see. Kalilo, good to see you. Crispy Shiny Things, one of the channel members. Good to see you. Still got me spuds to prep. Hope you managed to get that sorted. East End Dave is at work. Doesn't finish for another hour. Sorry to hear that, mate, but thank you for popping in. Jamie Frost from Japan. Brushing his teeth. Okay. Hopefully you managed to go to the toilet as well, mate, and you made it back in time. I'm not sure. Humble Stacker, one of the channel members. Good to see you, mate. Benson, good to see you, my friend. One of the channel members as well. All the channel members are in. Villainous Bounty, good to see you. Michael Will, good to see you. Ian Atterbury, the sniper, also a channel member. Good to see you. Who else we got? Silver Stag Stacker, thank you for joining. Miss Stacking with Craven, my better half. Thank you for joining. Have we got anyone else? Have I missed anyone? Maha Sarakam Stacking, good to see you. Got some others here. Comments flooding through. I love to see it, guys. CPM Invest, Andy, my good friend. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate it, mate. Do we have anyone else? Jonathan Herbert, Vegas Stacker, the man who's gifted more subscribers or members, to my channel than I thought was possible. Thank you so much for tuning in, mate. You're an absolute legend. And just as I scroll down a little bit more, Vegas has gifted Stacking with Craven 1 membership. Already on it, mate. Honestly, what are you like? You don't have to do that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. Absolute legend. CY Sterling, good to see you, mate. Queen Nessie, good to see you. Barra, good to see you. Who else have we got? Have I missed anyone? We're getting there, guys. Ian Ritchie, I can see. Good to see you. Guys, before I bring in the guests, I want to say my internet is being a little bit slow today. I refreshed it before I went live. So let me know if this stream is clear enough. It looks a bit buffery on my end. And there's not a great deal I can do about it. So do keep me up to date. I will check in on the chat and see what's what. Okay. So without further ado, he's waited long enough listening to me waffle. He's here on the Sundays with Craven podcast for the second time now, I believe. So I can't wait to ask some more questions and get to know him a little bit more. And that would be no other than Josh or MacDonald Bullion. Let's bring you in, my friend. Thank you so much for coming back on the live podcast. How are you doing today, mate?
I'm doing great, yeah. Thank you for having me on, and hello to everyone in the chat.
Yeah, honestly, absolute pleasure. Like I say, this is the second time that you've come on the podcast. We had a really good discussion last time. I do have lots of good chats with you privately about all this stuff that we love: silver, gold, precious metals, so many other things. We're going to do exactly that again this evening, and there'll be a few more questions thrown in there, I'm sure, Josh, for you from the live chat. So who knows what's going to come your way? I call it the interrogation. So we'll start in true tradition. That's a tongue twizzler. And I'm going to ask you, first off, the question from last week's special guest. Now, that was my good friend, Diaxis, and he left you this question to get you going, mate. So if you could leave one piece of advice behind for the next generation of stackers, what would it be?
Well, it's tricky, isn't it? I think that really understand why you're doing it. So I think if you're ever in doubt, then just go back to why are you buying it? Why are you buying silver? Why are you buying gold? Why are you getting into this space? What's the reason for it? And I think with that you can go down uh, a bit of a journey with it of where you want to go and what you want to do with it. So I suppose the advice that I would give someone is really understand why you want to do that, and then you kind of run your own sort of path with it. And then if it's collecting, if you're into your numismatics and you're also stacking a little bit as well, which is a really fun way of doing it. You're getting the sort of history behind it, but you're also getting the silver behind it as well. That can be a really good way. But I suppose if I really had to get down to sort of the nitty gritty part of it, it's just ask yourself why, and then just go with it. That's what I would probably say to uh, the new stackers. But yeah, it's a little bit generic, but that's what I would say.
No, I think you say generic. I think that's a really good, solid response to that. Why do you do it? And I do apologize in advance, but I'm going to start here. I'm going to ask you, Josh, what's your reason, mate? Why do you stack silver, gold, precious metals? You're a seasoned stacker. You've been doing this for longer than I have. You've got more experience. You've probably seen a lot of changes in the market, and you've learned lots of bits and bobs along the way. So, if you can, in your own words, what's your reason for stacking precious metals?
Well, I suppose that when I started, it's changed a few times from when I've started. When I first started, it was another way for me to try and invest, sort of post COVID. I was looking into ways and things, and I remember reading, I've spoken about this a couple of times, I think, and I remember seeing that the biggest import, I think it was in 2021 or something, was gold into the UK. And then it kind of led me down this rabbit hole of really understanding why is that? And that's it. Why is the reason that all of that's coming in? So I looked more into it. I It kind of opened a few doors of things that I didn't realize at the time. I think I watched a few videos as well. I followed a few people. I saw what they were getting. Now, things were slightly different. They haven't changed massively, but things were slightly different during that time. And I think starting off, it was to invest into gold and silver. I felt silver is undervalued. I still do. And I think gold is a really good way of storing that wealth, that bit of money that you do have, in probably a bit of a better way than that would of silver. Unfortunately, here in the UK, you pay that VAT, so you're a few steps down compared to, our friends from across the pond. But then again, there are some states where they have to pay that tax as well. So I suppose going with it, at the moment, I'm still saving in precious metals. I see it as a bit of an insurance tool, a bit of a savings for a long term, predominantly. And in that as well, you get a lot of the history. I really enjoy history. I really like history, and it kind of coincides with history as well. So I really like picking up all of the older coins. I like picking up the newer coins. I like picking up bars. I'm a very sort of generic sort of person with it all. So I suppose if I went into it, I'm saving because I think the demand will be there in the long term. I think it will go up. And it's a really fun hobby. I love it. Like, I've met so many people, I've learned so much, and there's still so much that I don't know that I learn from people even today. And I just think that over everything that I've gone into and I've looked into and everything, this is the best space which you not only get the fun for the investment side of it per se, but you also get the history, you get the collectibles, you get the enjoyment out of it, which I think when it comes to it is something really special about that.
Yeah, once again, brilliant answer. That's it's really good to hear you explain that. And I suppose it probably relates to a lot of us that are in the stacking space. What begins with curiosity, Josh, such as you said, it leads you on a journey of learning, figuring out what's going on in the world. Why are people stockpiling up on gold, silver? I want to learn about silver and gold. all those journeys you've been on, the history of it through currencies, everything that you've learned, and through some of our conversations, I can tell you're someone that really has done their research. My follow-up question to this is, what started with curiosity and obviously became something you learned about, understood more, and it's also a hobby. Where you're at now, has this solidified, you know what, I'm really glad I started, and actually I'm more confident investing my money in precious metals now than I ever was? Has that changed over time, or are you more certain that investing your money, at least like you say, a minimum as an insurance policy, is a great thing to be doing for yourself?
Well, I think that things have changed from when I first started. Things have changed. The I suppose the markets have changed. The community is grown. I think from when I started, which wasn't really that long ago. I think there were people doing it in the UK, but they've kind of come together a lot more than compared to back then. It was very much predominantly US based channels, which I certainly followed for about the first year anyway. So I think for me, there are I kind of split it down into different ways. I've got my stack, my foundation stack, which is going to be the predominantly it's the savings tool. It's the long term. And as you add into it over time, then for me it's useful. It's a good way that I like doing it. You also have the collectability side. You've got the collectibles, which are not only if you get that, if it does what I think it will do and it will go up in the long term, you also have that sort of collector's value, which can do really well. But you have to choose the right thing, because there could be a limited mintage of something, but there has to be a demand there. And if the limited mintage is only 1,000 and only 500 people want that piece, then it might be a bit tricky. So there's a lot of collectibles, a lot of really beautiful stuff. Just even the last few years, a lot of really nice things have come in. Some of the things that I've seen, which I didn't even think was possible, which are cool coins, which is just absolutely insane to me from what I have seen just a few years ago. Things have really progressed. So I think as a consumer, as someone, I suppose, who's investing, who's in saving in precious metals, if you're interested in the collectability side of things, which can be a really good, it can be really good as well, because we've seen it with lots of different things. Collector's value is there. Then you also have that, so you're appealing to a wider market, which I think can only be good for this space. So I think things have definitely changed. Have they changed for the better? It depends on who you ask. I think they have changed for the better, because I think more people have come in, and I think you're being exposed to much more information. And I think that you can make better decisions once you get even people that you disagree with, or you learn from alternative views, or whatever it is. Once you get that wide variety of views and everything, I think you can make a better informed decision. Which fundamentally, if you feel like gold and silver is going to be an investment for you, or if it's a collectability or it's a hobby, whatever it might be, then you can make a better informed decision. But if it's to say, is it right for you, I think only you can really answer that. For me, it's a right decision, because I have things in place which I think in the long term, I think it will do really well. But who knows, I could be totally wrong. No one knows.
That's it. Nobody knows. That's a really it's a good point to end on. Nobody knows, and it is completely down to the individual. But I was really interested to hear your view. Just quickly on that before I move on to another question. You mentioned you didn't feel like you've been stacking for that long. How long is it, Josh, that you've been stacking from when you first bought your first? I think it may have been a silver bar. I think you said
Yeah.
to me was your first investment into precious metals. When was that? How long have you officially been stacking?
I think I bought that in December 21. So I think technically it would have started December 21 and up until now, really. So I suppose it has been a little while, but I suppose when you speak to people in this space, some people have been doing it for so many years. Some people have come in within the last year. Some people, there might be someone new that's watching now that might be thinking about it. But so I suppose it's been, yes, December 21 was the very first piece I bought.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure that time has flown by, and a lot of things changed in your personal life, which may or may not have affected the way you go about your stacking. And I'll get into that a little bit. I'm going to go a bit deeper here with you and give you a quite an open and almost quite a challenging question. And the reason being is this was, and I'll give credit to who came up with this. This was asked from the live chat last week from no other than Vegas Stacker. And I just thought, what a brilliant question. And I could almost ask this every week because depending on who I ask it to, like you said, everyone has their own view, right? It's an individual thing. Certainly when you talk investments, precious metals, it's all down to the individual. I want to hear your answer to this. So, Josh, how has stacking changed your life?
What a question that is. I think it's presented a lot of things. For example, I suppose that there was a lot of things that I didn't think was even possible in this space. I suppose when I first started, it was very much I was going to get my first piece, I was going to hold it, and I was just going to leave it. When in reality, once you kind of go down it and you speak to like-minded people and you find people in this space that's interested in, and it's like, oh wow, okay, it's not just me, it's other people that are interested as well. So other people have come across it in some way, whether they've asked the same questions that I'm asking myself, and why am I doing this? Why am I getting it? What is the purpose of me having this silver bar? What's the point? Where's the end result? So I suppose it's changed because the YouTube thing has come. I've been doing some YouTube videos, and I've met a lot of people in the space as well. It's a really interesting community. You get a lot of knowledge from a lot of people. If you're into the numismatic stuff, it kind of coincides with the bullion stuff, and there is not just one thing that you need to focus on, and you can change your mind. Like if you're interested in something initially for the stacking of the precious metals, the investment, over time you might think, okay, I quite like the idea of getting some older silver coins or some pre-decimals or whatever it might be. So I suppose to go back on the point of how it's changed me, I think it's changed me because it's allowed me to save in a way which I never thought was possible. It's allowed me to get into a hobby which I'm really passionate about. And I suppose it's just meeting a lot of different people, a lot of different views. I think you'll certainly come across people that will, they might not like stacking, they might not like silver and gold. They might say, well, what is the point in buying gold? If you zoom out and you can see it's only rallied the last few years, what was the point in buying it? If you'd have stuck in the stock market and everything, you would have seen a greater return or whatever it might be. I don't know. But I think that it's really changed because there's stuff happening now which wasn't happening back then. So I think it's a really good thing. I think it's a really wise decision for anyone thinking about getting into precious metals in general. But it comes down to why you're doing it. Why are you buying it? And it can change over time. It depends on why you do it. But I suppose it's just really opened my eyes to what's possible when it comes to the products and everything, and it's really enjoyable. You meet a lot of people as well. You hear lots of different views. I didn't think we'd be shooting this video. When I bought my first bar, I didn't think I'd be sat here and doing a video with you. So it's incredible, really. But it's a great journey, and it's a great thing, I think. Anyway, but I think I'm biased, so.
I think we all are as stackers, as content creators, whichever sort of field you're in related to this. I think there is a bias there, but that's okay. I think an important point that you mentioned there is the enjoyment, and another one, Josh, is savings. I think when we talk about precious metals, people do like get quite caught up on, oh, it's an investment. Is it the best investment? Well, the two things you said there, for me, make precious metals stand out for a number of reasons. Those two things, savings as an insurance policy, whatever you want to call it, hedge against inflation, and enjoyment. I think they're great. And the reason why, before I started, Josh, I was terrible at managing my finances. I couldn't save 100 quid if I wanted to. I was awful. I explained that in my most recent video. And that's part of the reason why I got into this. You know, it wasn't to make loads of money or to get rich quick, which you may want from some investments out there, potentially more risky. It's a long-term thing. It's stability. It's there when you need it, and it's fun. And I think you mentioned the popularity increasing. We see more content creators in the space. We're seeing the community growing. I think that's great. It adds more views into the conversation. I think a lot of that is off the back of the boom we had over the last 12 months. You know, we saw the price of silver and gold do some pretty crazy things. Do you think, as a content creator, we know you're a stacker, we know the reasons you're looking to invest in the metals, has being someone that puts content on YouTube in this space changed any of your decisions throughout your journey? Has it made you want to stack better? Or, you know, do you get what I'm sort of trying to ask? Because you're a content creator and you show kind of what you're doing, what you're buying, some of your pieces, has that changed the way you stack at all or not?
I don't think so. I think there are certainly things that I've bought and I've showcased and things. There's some things that I've reviewed. I think that over time, like this, the same reasons as to why I'm doing now, they kind of go back to why I first started, but they have changed. They've adapted in that way as well. I suppose with what I was buying before, I was buying sort of the sovereign coins. I was buying the Maples. I was buying the Britannias, the Eagles. So, but I didn't know about them. I just thought they were just doing bars. So I suppose when I first got into the space, it was very much, you know, get a bar, keep the bar, and then somehow there's a coin. I thought, okay, all right, I'll take a look at this. And then, oh, there's other coins from other nations as well. And then over the progression over the last few years and things, we've seen much more collectibles. We've seen the collector stuff, which is absolutely stunning. You get some absolutely incredible pieces that are being released for the collectors market of things, which is bringing in, it's bringing in more people, it's bringing more awareness for it as well. So I think, it has changed, and I think it will change, and it will continue to change. It will continue to adapt to the market. Whatever the people, that comes in that wants it, it has to. But I think, Britannias and things, if you want to just stack as much as you possibly can, then, you might look to other things as well. You might look to pre-decimal, and pre-decimal wasn't something I even considered. I didn't know anything about it when I first started getting into it, but once you get into the space and you start talking to people and you go, oh, okay, I'm saving a load of premiums buying pre-decimal. I'm going to stack pre-decimal because that's going to be achieving the most silver I can get for the money I'm going to pay. Or if you think, I want to stick to Britannias, yeah, I'm going to pay the premium on it, but I'm aware of that. And I think that's the important thing. So long as you're aware and you know the decisions you're making, you've got a plan in place and things, then, just do what's right for you, buy what's right for you, and then enjoy it. If there's a piece that you see, I mean, I got one of the collector Morgan dollars, and I think it was like a proof coin or something. I can't really remember how much I paid, but I think silver was like £18 an ounce, and I paid well over that, but I loved it. It's such a good coin. So I suppose I still enjoy my Morgans because I knew about Morgans before I started coming into it, but I learned so much along the way as well. If you want the value for money, if you want to stack as much as you possibly can, there's things that I've learned that over time from being in this space, I've gone, okay, I've learned that from other people. So you're getting all that information. So I suppose it has changed from when I first started. I have changed the way I stack from doing it, because if someone didn't tell me and they say, oh, Josh, you should look at this. And I thought, bloody hell, I didn't even know anything about that. So I think it's changed things for the better for me from doing the content creation and things, because people have made me aware and I've looked into things and I've gone, wow, yeah, you're absolutely right. Which is only positive, I think. So long as you adapt in the space and you're willing to learn, I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, really good points made. That's interesting. Thank you for answering that question, because I really was interested. And you mentioned a topic that I could speak all day about, and I speak to you about this regularly. This topic of, you've obviously got as a we're talking silver here, gold as well, but mainly silver. If we're talking adding on a consistent basis, the numismatic stuff. So that's your pre-decimal coinage. You've obviously got 925 sterling silver here in the UK, very popular across the pond. You have 90% what's called constitutional junk silver, although I don't quite understand that term because it's definitely not junk. I've recently picked up beautiful peace dollar, a beautiful Morgan dollar. It's beautiful. And when you sort of get into this a bit more, this blew my mind, right? When you look at the numbers from an investment point of view, bullion is pure silver. It's in its finest form. And for example, a Britannia is stunning. When we go to buy a Britannia in the UK here, we are jealous. If people watching from the US, you do have it a little easier. But over here in the UK, from my experience, I'm sure it's the same for you, Josh. We look, say if the spot price of silver is £55, you've then got to take into consideration the dealer's premium and tax. And you may end up paying £20 more than that, £75 for a £55, intrinsically valued 1 ounce silver coin. And then you think, okay, that's an option. But for £45, I could buy a peace dollar, which is 90% silver. As we spoke about, pre-decimal junk silver options out there. It's just under 24 grams, I think, of pure silver content. And it's only about 10% over spot for what you could, what it's worth, what you could buy it. Is it a smart move to focus more on that? I think it is if you're focused on weight. But would you think there's an argument to say it's really healthy to have bullion in your stack as well as a mix? Or does it not matter? If you're a stacker, whatever form it's in, Josh, you just want silver at the best price. If you could get at half price, spot price is 55 and you're getting it for, say, the equivalent of half of that, would you turn everything around and start stacking 925 sterling silver teapots or something, or kettles if it was really cheap? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Extreme example, but the form it comes in is irrelevant. It's silver. Should we be focusing more on the numbers? Or is there a reason that people think, or bullion, is very popular amongst stackers, despite it not always looking like the best deal? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, to be fair, I mean, this market that we saw in December, where we saw the price go up to 85 quid and then come down, you learn a lot of things from that. So I suppose if I was to answer your question, if you want the best value for your money, if you want the most silver that you possibly want in exchange for the currency, the money that you're going to use to pay it, then you're going to be looking at sterling silver, you're going to be looking at trinkets, you're going to be looking at spoons, you're going to be looking at pre-decimal stuff. For 50%, you can get a lot for your money. Right now, you can get a lot of good deals on pre-decimal stuff, and you can get some really fantastic coins as well. I mean, when you think that 100 years ago, a day's work would have been a shilling, it's incredible. It blows my mind anyway. But you can achieve that for not really much money. I know the price has gone up now and things are more expensive. Half crowns are probably about 25, 30 quid now, but they weren't really much money. So if you want the most value, if you want the most silver for what you're going to exchange with, you're going to look to that. But I think that what people really need to know is the exit strategy. How are they going to sell? And interestingly, which we've just seen, refineries wasn't taking alloyed silver for quite a while, or there was a huge delay when it comes to people wanting to sell and being turned away. So to answer your question, do I think that you should have I suppose, would I have all of my stack in pre-decimal? No, I wouldn't. Just purely on the basis that if I wanted to sell, then if you're going to go down that route of using a refinery or using a shop or something, then, and you're looking for convenience and they say no, what are you then going to do? Are you going to hold off? Are you going to sell peer-to-peer? Now, there are other ways that you can get around that. You can sell it on secondary marketplaces. You can sell it on eBay. You can sell it in different formats. It really depends. And you'll make more money doing that. But I think a combination is useful, because I think during the time pure silver was being taken, but the refineries were overloaded. So is it going to be this case that we hoard all this alloyed silver, we try and sell it when it goes to a price that we're willing to sell at, and then all of a sudden we can't sell it, and then the supply's cut off? So what do? You're stuck on all this silver. So what do you do? So I think that once it comes down, once things calm, I think things are calming ever so slightly. I think the market is kind of in a way that it's kind of getting its new feet and it's trying to be comfortable at the moment, but it's tricky because anything could happen. But I think a combination of things is really useful to consider. But then again, you've got lots of other options as well. You've got world silver. So I mean, if you're looking at really trying to get bang for your buck, then world silver can be a really good option as well. But it's the exit strategy. Who is going to buy that from you? Are you going to sell it on secondary marketplaces? Are you going to sell it to a coin shop? To try and put to the refinery? What are you realistically going to get? Maybe 80% or something if you want to sell your sterling stuff or something. So you really need to take that into consideration. Or do you go for pure silver? So I mean, if you're getting pure silver, if you're going for the Britannias, you're going to pay that premium. So how is it best to get that? And if you're looking at bullion in general, 1 ounce coins are the go-to. So I mean, if you're looking at the special scheme, the margin scheme, or if you're looking at peer-to-peer, you can get a better deal than what you would do if you bought new, because you're going to pay the VAT and everything, which is expensive for what you pay. If you're trying to get as much silver for the money that you're possibly trying to get, that might not be an option for you. But you've got that option. It's an option for you. And if you think that actually I'm going to value the convenience when I choose to sell, and I know that they're going to be more likely going to take that pure silver from me, and I think it's going to go a lot higher, then I think it's worth considering, because it's probably going to be the most liquid. From what we've seen the past 3 months, pure silver has been the most liquid. And then you've got other things as well. You've got I don't really know the ETF market and stuff. I don't really touch that. I think I'm keeping things strictly on the physical stuff. But I suppose there's ETFs if you really want to invest that way. But I think you're kind of buying into nothing really. You're not buying the silver itself. So whatever you go, there are pros and cons with whatever you choose. Silver's tricky because well, it's not tricky. You have to kind of consider all avenues and how are you going to sell. And that's even if you want to sell, you don't necessarily have to sell. A lot of people keep it and they hand it down, or they just use it as a backup and say, I'm only going to sell it if and when I need. And you might not even sell during the top of the bull market. You might just sell as and when, little by little. Some people use it as a retirement fund or whatever it may be. So there is no right or wrong answer, and I'm kind of sorry I can't say, and try and give that opinion and say this is what you need to buy, because it's just not the case. It really depends on the person. It depends on what you're trying to get out of it. If you really want as much silver as possible, then pre-decimal world silver is definitely the way, I think, to go right now. But if you like pure silver, then Britannia's, we've seen that really, like, if we want to look back in December, January time, it was all Britannias were sold out. You couldn't get Britannias. You could get other bits and pieces and things, but you could not get Britannias. So I think going on from here, that was a really useful lesson. And I think if you're going to stack silver, Britannias. If you think you're going to sell, Britannia's definitely, or consider other options if you want to. But I think Britannia's the best. And then world silver pre-decimal. It can be a really good option as well. So I hope I answered it. Sorry to waffle on, but
no,
yeah.
That was a fantastic answer. I always have appreciated the detail that you go into. It's a credit to you and clearly the research you've done on your own in your own time to learn about all this. It's fascinating to hear your views, and I think to pinpoint probably the most important thing, as you said there, rightly so, is that when we have this argument weighing up to go sort of pre-decimal, junk silver, world silver, that form, or just pure bullion, consider the exit strategy, because what might seem a better deal now, it may be a lot more inconvenient if you're looking to sell as opposed to bullion. There is that to factor in. And there is so many options out there. I've opened my eyes to, world silver that's really great value, like literally spot price. You just coins that I've never seen before, old vintage coins I'd never heard of, but they contain X amount of silver, and you can get that at spot price if you have a good look around. So there are so many options, and I think for me, I'm still learning all about that, and I won't always make the perfect decision because I like to have a variety, and sometimes I am just really interested in maybe getting some more Britannias or picking up some more crowns or doing a little date run at the best value I can for that specific coin. So, yeah, great answer. Follow up question about the refineries because I find that really interesting, Josh. Do you think that will change in the future? Um, I don't know any figures, but there has been conversations I've seen online about are we running? Are we ever going to run out of silver? Is the demand going to basically eclipse the supply that's coming through? Is that contributing to the price going up? Do you think there'll become a point where, to try and counter that, refineries all of a sudden are opening their gates with warm arms to the likes of, pre-decimal silver, stuff that's not pure, that will need to be properly refined, will be, not as cost effective, not as easy? Do you think that we could have a different view in, say, 20 years than what we do now? I asked that because for me, I'd be looking to hold that type of silver for at least 20 years, ideally. Who knows, right? But that could change by then. Do you have a thought on that? Have you thought if it could change and maybe why?
I think that, I mean, with silver, I mean, when I compare it to gold, I suppose, silver is, there's been the supply issue and things. I don't think silver is scarce personally. I think the silver will be there. I think the demand will increase, and I think there's perhaps arguments that can be there on scarcity on how we want it. But I think it will. I think it will be there with the demand, and I think the demand will increase the price along with currency debasement as well. The demand will be there because silver has got so many use cases, and as we go through, I think it will only increase. But I think that when it comes to the refineries itself, we're at will of what the refineries will accept. So I think it's a good, wise decision to consider all the options. I think if you want as much silver as possible for the money that you're getting, and you know you're not going to sell it all at once when silver, if it does, goes to, I don't know, 100, 200, whatever it might be, if you've got a price that you've got set in your mind, then how many other people are going to do that as well? How are you going to stand out from selling that if, again, the refineries say there's not enough product for us to take it all? We're getting too overwhelmed and we don't want to buy at this price. So I think it could. I think it could potentially, but it's very difficult to say. I mean, there could be something that it's like some of the businesses now that are using silver. Could they then use other alternative means of using something else? They could do. Or could that really just release the price of what we think will happen to silver much sooner? Could go the other way as well. It's very tricky to say. But I think from, in my opinion, from what I've seen, I think the demand will increase. I think it will go up in the long term because of the two issues of supply, debasement, and the demand for it will increase. I think it's inevitable, really. How much it does and how quickly, I have absolutely no idea. I remember saying, I did a little. I don't do price predictions anymore because I get them so wrong. But I did a. I thought silver was going to go up to. I think it was about 32 quid by the end of the year. So when I saw it, I thought, bloody hell, like that's just crazy. So now I'm just like, I'm not doing them anymore. I was like, that's it now. But I think the demand will be there for silver. I think we are at will of the refineries, but then will it be the case that they take everything in? Because we've seen over the past few months, if they weren't taking alloyed silver, then is there genuinely a scarcity for what they're looking for? Are they really after as much silver as possible because the demand is there in alloyed silver? Why are they not prepared for that? Did they not, I don't know. Perhaps it was just usual business. I don't know. I've no idea. But I just think that if there was a genuine need to take everything, then they would be taking everything. But I think they were taking some. I think some refineries were taking some sterling silver in that, but it was a lot less to what
Yeah.
spot was for it. And I think that's something you have to take into consideration as well. If you want to get the most liquid and stuff, and you feel like you're going to sell it, then pure silver might be a really good option. Or will you sell it? A lot of people don't sell it because they see, well, why would I exchange it back into a fiat currency that's losing value? So it's there's no right answer. I don't know what will happen. I don't know where the future holds for it. But one thing I would say, based on what I've looked at and everything, I think the demand will be there, and I think that it's inevitable. I think it's a wise decision to get into silver. The trouble is it's so expensive for us here in the UK.
Yeah, we pulled the short straw on that one, but it's a long-term hold, and feel like, with the Britannias, like you mentioned, there is that convenience when it comes to sell. It is pure silver in its finest form, 39's fine, plus purity. And specifically with Britannias, of course, we've got the capital gains tax exemption when looking to sell later on down the line in the UK. All things to consider. And goodness me, Josh, when you're talking, mate, there's about six rabbit holes I want to go down and ask more questions, but I'm conscious of the fantastic questions I've still got to ask you. So I'm going to pick one thing out from what you've just said, which was a really good point. And we talk about technology as things advance and silver being very popular. We see that as the world's trying to build a greener space. A lot of solar systems are being installed. And we know that within those solar systems, solar panels, they are using bits of silver. From what I believe, it's less than an ounce per panel. But I don't know the exact figures. Maybe it changed. Maybe that's getting less. I don't know. But you also said, will there potentially be in the future kind of like an alternative metal that can be used that's just as effective, just as efficient, that's cheaper for these countries to make, manufacture, use, that would then obviously have an effect on silver because the demand's not there commercially for that? Do you think potentially if there was a metal better than silver, we would already know that? Or do you think there's still so much to learn from that? Do you think there could be a change there? As a quick question, I suppose.
I think, businesses want to make money, don't they? So if they're spending a lot of money on, if it goes up too fast, too quickly, then they might look at alternative things. One of the businesses, companies making silver jewelry, and they might go to silver plated and then use another one. That's just one example. But then the argument there could be then, well, we're just releasing those kind of shackles to those companies, and we're going to see the true value of it because it's being kept down because of manipulation for industrial demand or whatever it is. They've kept it down for too low for too long. So really, it's going to be that springboard for it to go. But I can't help but think, if it goes up too much for companies willing to pay for it, would they look at alternative things? I just think that they would if it got too expensive. If there was an expense there that they were spending and they check and they say, can we replace it with an alternative? I think that could be the question. But then again, would it mean that the value of the silver will increase and be less restricted of those types of companies that's keeping it down, or could it go the other way? So it's really tricky to say. I don't know, but I hope that it will go up and the demand will be there. I think it will, but I want it to go up steadily and slowly. I don't want this upside down collapse because it's not good for anyone. Unless you're holding loads of it and you plan on going, and selling it and going on a really nice holiday or whatever. But I prefer a steady growth, and I think the steady growth will be there. I think the demand will be there. I hope that it will continue to be like that, but I just can't help to have this little niggle and just think, yeah, would they go somewhere and get something else? I don't know. I don't think I know I know enough about it to kind of say, because I don't know what other things they would use apart from copper, and silver's so much better than copper. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's really interesting. No, I'm sorry. I've been asking you some difficult questions, but yeah, I was really interested to hear your thoughts on that. And I guess the answer to it is only time will tell, mate. Only time will tell. We will see how it pans out from there. So, got some more questions for you, and this is interesting. Maybe for this one, it's not really as deep of a question, so take it where you want to go. But I'd like you to, if we just talk about silver and gold, two popular precious metals that are often spoke about in the same conversation. What are your thoughts on them just in general? And I guess what I'm trying to ask is, do you have a preference overall? And if you do, why is that?
I prefer gold if I had to choose. But then again, it's like one of those things where I always say it's like your head says gold, but your kind of heart just can't but get silver as well. So I suppose if you want to use something as a way of taking money out of the bank and putting it into something that you feel is a store of value, gold's going to be the best thing for us, and that for the UK because of the VAT, and that's the main difference. But then the argument could then be, well, if you look on last year, silver did so much better than gold. That's not something we see very often. If you zoom out, again, if in doubt, zoom out of the charts and have a look at the charts. It's not a natural thing that we've seen. Could it be that it's that, well, actually enough is enough and it's actually gone up because the boot's been on the neck, so to speak, and this is where it goes? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I just think that in terms of gold, for me, gold is best if you can afford it, because it is very expensive. An ounce used to cost 1,500 quid, not that long ago, and now it's just gone up hugely, and I think it will continue to go up. Not financial advice, by the way, I don't know, but I think it will. Silver's a really interesting one. It's an industrial metal. It's 20% VAT. There's a lot of premiums on it. People that are looking into precious metals might look to silver because it's cheaper and they can get more of it. And you've got other things that you can get as well. So when it comes to a lot of I've got a couple of these. I'll just show you. But there's like a little piece dollar there. If you wanted that same diameter in gold, you're looking at thousands. So you can get a lot of the currency coins. I find it fascinating because you can get a lot of the history with silver. So I really enjoy it. I like the history. I like picking up the coins, even the bullion coins. I like picking up all sorts of different pieces, whatever it might be. I like picking it up if I've got some spare change or whatever. If I want to put some into something that I think would be a really good buy, then maybe I'll buy it. But I think it's very difficult because they're kind of treated differently. Gold is seen much more of an investment, I think, in terms of with what we're presented, because there's no tax on it, well, VAT. And, if you're getting the right coins in and things, then when you sell, you're not going to subject yourself to that CGT threshold because of its legal tender status under tax. But, you've also got silver. And I remember silver, I never ever considered really I'd ever pay capital gains tax on, because I used to think that it would have to go up stupid amounts. I'd have to sell over 15 to 2,000 ounces of silver in 1 year just to even hit that threshold. But last year is just completely taken me by surprise. I didn't expect that to happen last year. So I think that if you can do gold, then gold is best, but not. It's so expensive. Like, it's too expensive for a lot of people. So they look in alternative ways, and you can save in silver if you're doing it the right way. You can save it, and you can exchange it into gold if you want. If you want to play the ratio, I don't think the ratio works here. It might do in the US. It doesn't really work here because of all the other costs that we have to pay. But I think just both. Really, I think gold is the smarter thing, but there's also like its little sibling silver, which is quite fun to have, and it's cool, and and it might perform better. We've seen it last year; it performed better than gold. Yeah. And history tells us that's what happens. During these runs, silver does do better, but I think you've really got to ask yourself why you're doing it. Again, why are you buying it? So gold can be really useful for that. Silver can be maybe less so because you got all these fees and everything. It just be, don't throw all your eggs into one basket with it. Maybe just think about it. But I'd probably say gold, but I love silver, so I don't know. I don't know if I can't
I
give you
can
an answer.
see
I
the
think
dilemma in your head, mate, building up. It's such a great question. And
I'm just being pulled from like I like no gold, like what, and it's like no silver, and it's like I like them both in similar ways, but slightly different way. I mean, a lot of the coins I've got are silver coins. I enjoy it. I like the bars. I like all the pre-decimal stuff. I like loads of different bits and pieces with it. But gold, is probably the more sensible decision. So, yeah, I'm gonna say gold, but I love both, and it's really not much in it.
yeah, well said. And you can just see how, despite the way you're thinking, it's not easy to just categorize, say, 100% this is the better one. I think this is how I'd put it for me personally. My mind's telling me gold, but my heart's just saying, oh, yeah, silver. It's there, I can get it regularly. Makes me feel good when I get a good deal. Do love, stacking silver. It's so much fun. But yeah, well said. Good answer. And I'm going to move on to a few more questions because I'm keeping an eye on the time. Guys in the live chat, don't worry. We will come to you for the live Q&A in the later part of the show. But I've got some more interesting questions for Josh first. But you guys start having a think of questions that you would like to ask Josh when we do that live Q&A. And don't forget, for those that entered, there is a live giveaway happening as well before the end of the show. There we go. So, time for a deep one, Josh. Are you ready?
No. Yeah, go on.
So, have you done anything in your life, so your personal life, that's had a bearing on your passion for stacking?
I think, I suppose, I think as a kid, I always enjoyed collecting. I collected lots of different bits and pieces, like the old like Panini albums and that. I would try and like get all the stickers and I'd try and fill it out. I was always keen on. I wasn't well, wasn't a hoarder, so to speak, with that, but like I enjoyed like little bits. If you could collect it and make it into a complete thing, I enjoyed that. So I think sort of when I was younger, I think there was some sort of foundations of thinking, okay, just adding a little and often to something to complete a book or something, it kind of coincides slightly. Probably doesn't make sense what I'm trying to say, but it kind of coincides a little bit with that. So I think just throughout my life, I've always been interested in collecting. I've always loved history. I always wanted to do something in history, but I didn't want to be a teacher. And you get all of that in this space. You get it all. You get all the history. You get, I suppose, the investment side of things as well. You meet a lot of people. You can learn a lot from different people. You can see different things. You can get lots of different collectibles. If you don't enjoy the history stuff, the numismatic stuff, you don't have to. You got collectibles. You got all that sort of licensed stuff as well. If you really want to go down that route, or if you don't care about any of that, then you've also got other things that people make. You've got pourers. You've got some really incredible pourers in the space that really make some really stunning things. And I've got things in that as well, and I don't see that as, I hope this goes to £200 an ounce or something. I love it. Like I think it's great, and it's a bit of your time, energy, and something that you've put into something that's tangible, and it's valuable, and I think it's a really empowering thing. So I suppose, kind of to go back on the question, I think there's a lot of different little things that have kind of gone in my life that I think have kind of coincided with stacking. So the history and everything with the numismatics, the pre-decimal and stuff, collecting, stacking, whatever it might be. Um, I Not to say a cliche thing, it's all led me to this moment, because it's not the case, because you go on a journey, but I think it's yeah, I'd probably say the reason I enjoy it and I like it is probably just because I'm a collector, or a bit of a hoarder. It depends on who you ask.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. It's interesting that starts from a young age. I, like yourself, used to collect like the Panini stickers, and I used to fill sticker books, all sorts of stuff like that. That kind of plays the same role in how we approach stacking. There's that sort of completionist aspect. You want to get them all. You want to complete a date run, and those sort of aspects definitely carry through. And as for the history side, I find that interesting because something that stands out massively to me when you speak, and I'll say it again, I said it before, mate, it is you've clearly done your research. You've got a very firm understanding of what you're talking about. And you're interested in learning all the time, which I think is great. And it's one of the reasons why I love hearing you explain some of your reasons here. So, yeah, that's a really good answer. And I appreciate you sharing that with me. So, another deep question, back to back, straight off. Here we go. So, you're obviously a father. So you're a family man now. And I'd like to ask, how has becoming a father, Josh, altered your view on money and stacking precious metals?
I suppose I can't be Gollum anymore. I've got to share it now, haven't I? So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's I think it's kind of, I suppose, given me much more focus in a certain area of the stack and everything that I'm looking at doing, but it's given me that sort of time horizon. It's given me a target. Before, I mean, if I was to kind of use that analogy, I was just going with whatever I was interested in. But also, if I got carried away, because there were definitely times where I've spent too much one month, and I've gone, why am I doing it? Why am I getting this? Is it an impulse buy? Probably, yeah, it is. All right, let's rein it in. Why am I doing it? And I think that it's given me much more grounding. It's given me much more purpose over a certain part of the stack, and it's given me consistency, because you don't have to have, loads. You can start with, I mean, if you want to start in silver, you can just get a small little pre-decimal coin. If you want to, you can get a little gram, if you really like the grams. You can start off really small if you believe in silver and you're thinking 20-year horizon or whatever. For gold, if you want to use it and you want to use an alternative way of not using perhaps an ISA, you can use that as well. Like an ISA there's a place for an ISA. I'm not saying that you should definitely not use it. There is a place for it. You're never going to convince everyone to take money out their ISAs. It's not the case. But it's another means of saving for the future for someone, which I think is a really empowering thing. And it is something that I think you can have, you can hold, it's tangible, it's wealth preservation, it's something that we've looked on as a store of value for 5,000 years. And I think it's really empowering when you have that and you can have it, you can own it, you can keep it, you can sell it if you want, because I'm assuming the stuff that I will pass will just get sold in the first day, which is why I'm not like planning on, if I was to get a nice sovereign or something and I was, to hand that to my daughter or something, and then she sell that and I just be like, oh my God, I really wish I bought that. And I just kept that myself, So I think it's given me much more focus on knowing what I'm keeping is probably going to be sold, and that's going to be the expectation. But I think it's also that learning of, over time, the power that you can have by just saving a little and often, monthly or weekly, or it doesn't even have to be that, it could be yearly, if it's for a birthday, if it's for Christmas. If it's something that you just want to round up, you can use your, depending on what bank you're with, I find it really useful to just round up those bits of change, or at the start of the month just get a bit of cash out and just put it in a money tin. I'm doing something like that where you get a bit of cash, you put it in a money tin, you forget about it. Once it's full, you exchange it, and then it's wow, it's a bit of extra pennies to spend on whatever. If you want to get some more silver, if you want to go on holiday, if you want to go spend it on your family or whatever it is, but you're giving yourself options. And I think that's really important. So I suppose to go back on the question, it's given me a lot more grounding. It's given me focus. It's given me something to kind of have a time horizon of what I want to do and save for, my daughter. So it's a really empowering thing. And I think that, I'm sure she'll be pleased. When she gets whatever she gets. But I think it's a great thing. It's a great savings account for, if you're going to hand it down to your kids or whatever it is. it's a great bit of thing to do. Yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully. Yeah.
it's does it play a big part in your thinking process when you're making a purchase? Do you think, you know, think of the child? Are you less selfish maybe than before because you mentioned you're more grounded? If you're thinking of spending, maybe more relevant when you're spending larger amounts of money, maybe if it was a gold purchase, do you think you sort of have that second thought of, oh, should I be putting the money towards this or should I put it aside? Does that play a part? And on top of that, do you have an exit plan with all of this? Or, like you said, is your sort of incentive to build up and build up and build up, never sell? So you've got your backup plan, insurance policy, but also you've got peace of mind that you're leaving, should the worst happen, you're leaving that value there behind, and people are going to be looked after and okay because of that. Or do you think you'd look to sell at some point and spend some of that money? But what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's wise to not be concrete in whatever, because something can happen if there's something that presents itself where I have to sell something. And I have sold pieces, like I have sold pieces before, whatever it is. But the good thing is if you're perhaps maybe you're struggling to save or something, if you're using it as part of your disposable income and you're putting it into something like silver or gold or whatever it is, it's money that you wouldn't have had and would have got wasted anyway. Or if it's in another pot where it's strictly for investment or for a pension or whatever it is, then you don't want to touch that. That's fine. But I think that I have a goal in mind of where I want to get to, and that's where I'll set myself for the foundation for that part of, if something was to go wrong, if there's if there's something that happens which means I need to liquidate, then it's there. Or if it gets to retirement and you want to trickle it down and sell that, then it's there. Or if you want to do something nice for someone and you want to use it, then it's there. It's giving yourself options, because there's much more to life than just having a massive load of Smaug's, gold in the buried underneath your backyard or whatever. But I think the point I'm trying to make is never say never. There's always going to be a time that presents itself that the temptation is probably going to be there to sell some pieces, or if you need to, it's there for you if you need to as well. But it also gives you another option that if you are saving for someone, or if you're using it as a way, as an additional way, then I think it's a wise thing. I think it's a good thing. I think it teaches people about money. If you zoom out, you can see the charts if you want to, and it's something that I don't know about you, but like when you speak to people that perhaps don't know a whole great deal about gold and silver, or they're not really interested or whatever, they're always interested when you've got it and they see it and they're like, wow, I've never seen a bit of gold or something. How much is that worth? That's always the question. How much is that? So I think
Shiny.
it's, yeah, like wow, or like you just hand it. You can get some really good reactions. But I think it's a good way of saving for whatever it is. I think never say never, because um the trouble is as well is if often I see that people will keep it and they'll say, "I'll never ever sell, I'll never sell, never sell." Their kids get it and then they'll just take it down and sell it, or it goes to, perhaps there's a, who knows. But the point I'm trying to make is not everything has to be so focused and ingrained in the materialistics of our things that we have. I think set yourself a goal, because there is a point where too much becomes too much. If your garage is leaking silver, then you probably got too much silver. um, but just have that ground in that basis. It's always important to do good for yourself, because it's what we want to do. It's a natural instinct to want to do well and save and do better for the next generation and everything. But I think just be present for the here and now as well. And if you want to liquidate, if you want to go on holiday, fine. But it's there. It's just things. Just give yourself options. Don't be too, set in stone with what you're going to do. Have that bit of okay, the bit of grounding, the bit of balance with it as well, because it's although it's great and it's brilliant to have, it's a tool that you can use. It's an additional tool that you wouldn't have had if you hadn't have got into it in the first place. And this is why when people say, well, if you'd have thrown all the money into the stock market, you would have got loads more. And it's like, I'm not interested in any of that rubbish. I'm happy with what I've got. So it's different. It depends on who you ask. It depends on why you're doing it. It depends on what you want to liquidate for. But what I would say is never say never, and just give yourself those options. Some people will keep it, they'll hold it, they'll hand it down. People will keep it and have it, but having that option is a really good thing, in my opinion.
That's so interesting. And I can't help but find the way you put some things. It's very amusing as well. And specifically when you said if your garage is leaking silver, I thought that was great. And my last question for you before we do move on to the live Q&A, it leads on from that and what you just said about the garage leaking silver. And at what point with silver, gold stacking, at what point do we have enough? Is there, we all set goals. You mentioned you've got goals, long-term goals. Some people think about exit strategies, all of that goes into it. But when you're building up a stack, is there a specific point for stackers where, okay, that's enough? Your garage is full, there's coins rolling down the road, which I'm sure your neighbors wouldn't mind. And
Yeah.
that's just a jokey circumstance. But is there a point where enough's enough, Josh, in your opinion, or not? And if there is, what's that point? Could you put a number on it?
No.
I knew you wouldn't.
It's such a difficult answer, isn't it? Because there's people with not very much money that want to get in the space that will be thinking in just ounces rather than tens or hundreds or whatever it is. I think that I can't speak for everyone else because some people will just continually do it, and I think for me it's not something that I will do. For me, there's a cut-off limit for me, and once I reach that, that's it. But I mean, it depends on your circumstances. Sometimes people will say that you keep emergency savings, you keep living expenses, and you'll keep that gold and silver for whatever it is for, and then if you want to set that limit, then you can. But there is nothing set in stone for it. But what I would say is if you consistently and constantly chase wanting to try and hoard, and keep as much silver and gold as possible. Some people will say, thousands, and nothing is ever enough. There is a point, and I think that it's very easy to kind of get sucked into that. I need to consistently overlook everything that I'm doing now, everything that's in front of me, and get the next piece. When in reality, how about you save that 70 quid and go take your family out? Or if you want to do, it's just that balance. And I think it's very easy to kind of get sucked in the vortex of silver's going to 200 quid, you need to get in now. You don't have to get in now. Silver's going to be here when, whether you give it a month or two or a year or whatever it is. But what I see often is just having that discipline of just setting that budget, keeping to that budget, and then just accumulating to a target that you've calculated yourself. Whether that's, for example, I mean, you think I want to have X month amount of my living expenses in gold, because I know if I have it in sovereigns, Britannias, grams of gold, whatever it is, I know that it's there and I can use it and I can have access to it. It's an option. So I suppose the point is, definitely consider it. If you want to keep buying it, that's on you. For me, I can only speak on for me. I've got my cut-off limit, and I've got my my aim and my goals, my own personal goals and things that I set for myself. How much is enough? Really, you can't answer. I can't answer it, but I think everyone has to ask that question for themselves. I don't think you can seek that question from anyone else because they just don't know you. People just don't know your situation. They don't know your circumstances. They don't know, you know, perhaps you're buying things that they don't necessarily like. There's always going to be this type of bias with people. So, I mean, unless you're paying for that advice and they'll say, well, and they'll go for it, then fine. Maybe that's something slightly different, but I think you have to focus on yourself. Definitely consider gold and silver as a wise decision. It's a great hobby. It's a great thing, preservation tool. But don't overlook the here and now and everything that's important, because it's very easy to kind of get sucked in what I call the vortex with it all. So yeah, that's what I would say. Set yourself a number, keep to that, in my opinion. But if you want to go wild and start throwing loads of gold and silver into your garage, then fine, that's on you. But yeah, I was gonna say, when you said, "Oh, when's enough?" I said when the garage door starts to bend. But then I thought, no,
that's the first sign, right? Wow, what an answer! I think that's so much sense what you just said there. Really well explained, as you have with all of my questions. And I think one of the most powerful things you said there was within that answer was, it's okay to sell some of your stack and treat the family to a holiday, or go have a nice day out, or buy something for someone, because we have these conversations, and I love doing this every week, guys. It's an absolute pleasure. We talk about money, we talk about precious metals, we talk about investments, but family, quality time with family, and those real things in real life that matter, memories are priceless. And never forget that. It's great what we're all looking to do, but I just wanted to point out, I think that was a really, really powerful thing that you said, and something that we should all remember from time to time, despite being, as we are, wanting to talk more and more about it. What's right, what's wrong, what's the plan, is there ever enough? But yeah, and thank you so much for answering all my questions personally. Really, really enjoyed those answers. It's always a pleasure having the chance to pick your brain. I wish we had more time and I could ask you another 10 questions, but I suppose I'll have to wind you down in the future and get you to come back on for a third time, Josh, sometime.
I'll come on, yeah, any time.
But yeah, no, I appreciate that. But that may be the end of my questions. But this is where we start the questions from the live chat. Now, as we were speaking, I did see some keen questions coming through. And once again, guys, if anyone put questions in the live chat during the first half of the show, and I haven't read them out, we have a designated segment, the live Q&A, where I will read those questions. So yeah, sorry if I've missed anything so far, but please do, if you still want Josh to answer that question, or if it's specifically for me, pop them in now and we'll go through them, because this is the point where we always do that. So the question I wanted to pick up on when you were last talking, Josh, is from, and I'll put it on screen as well, it's from Kalilo, who says, question. Let's say you hit the goal, then what?
Treat yourself, go on holiday. I think it's very easy, isn't it? It's very easy to expand, and goals can change. If perhaps you think you might need a little less, you can move that. Or if you feel like you need a little more, then that's okay too. Or if you think you want to branch out and you feel like you've got enough bullion, you might want to consider pre-decimal, or you might want to think, actually, I want to complete some albums, or you want to go on to collectibles, or whatever it is. There's some really beautiful pieces, and the space now over the past just 2 or 3 years has gone incredible with some of the pieces that you can pick up, and pourers as well. You can get some stunning pieces with pourers. So I suppose, for me, hit the goal. I'll probably still sort of consider things, but it might change. Maybe there's something else, or maybe I move that. Maybe I'll move the goal. It can change, and that's the good thing of it. But it really depends. I think again, it's kind of going in this, when is enough, and I think only you can answer that question. But I think it's, if you hit that milestone, then maybe your family, maybe you focus on your family or something. Go on, enjoy yourself. If you have that insurance, if you have that thing to fall back on, then you have that option too. Or it's very difficult to answer, but I think just focus on the important things, and considering gold and silver is an important thing, but it's not everything, is what I'm trying to say.
Well said. And a great first question as well. They come through thick and fast, so I'm going to keep reading through the questions for you. So thank you. So next question is from I'm Bringing Silver Back. Great name, by the way. I love that. Question for Josh. Talking about fractional gold, what's your thoughts on gold backs?
But you can. I have got some gold backs. I mean, I buy them because I collect them. I like them. I think the designs are really incredible. I think from even seeing the first ones, like the very first gold backs that they released, they've come such a long way, and it's kind of like a timeline. When you've got them all laid out, you kind of see this timeline over the designs that have come with the gold backs, and I think they're a really cool collector's piece. If you're here in the UK, if you're in the US, you can use it, I think. And I have seen people use it. But I think there's mention talk of an international gold back, which I've saw, which would be a really interesting thing. I'll probably pick up that as well, but I'd probably see it much more of a collector's thing here. But I mean, if there's a way of spending it, then I'm all ears. I'd love to see.
Yeah, I think it could be a long time coming before we see them in the UK. If they did, I think I'd be inclined to pick up a couple, but for the collector's side. But yeah, really interesting, and I love that question about goldbacks. Tends to come up quite a lot. Very popular. Next question from Nerd UK. I'm reading everyone, so you never know what's coming up. I can see you've seen it, but I'm gonna read it. So Nerd UK has said, question for Josh. Mrs. Nerd still wants to know, is TSC your dad?
He is, yeah. Yeah, he is. Next question.
Okay. BBA. Now, BBA, I think you did ask this about 11 times, mate. I wasn't ignoring you. It's just we have a designated segment, brother. So forgive me. Now's your time to shine. Question for Josh. Do you prefer a silver crown or a 1 ounce Britannia?
I'd probably go for a crown. You just don't see crown. Britannias you can pick up quite easily. They're readily available now. Probably less so a couple of months ago because no one could get any of them. But I think crowns. There's a lot of history to them. You can stack them for. I mean, if you're focusing on trying to get as much silver for your money, then crowns can be quite useful. Or if you don't care about any of that at all, it's a big coin. It's a numismatic piece. It's a limited mintage. So it's all that in one. So I'd probably say a crown.
Yeah, I like that answer. I think I'm with you there. This next one, it's not metals or anything, Josh. I'm let you answer this one. Miyamoto says, FFS, why did the time change?
Craven's fault. No, it's my fault. Yeah, it's a couple of personal reasons. Really, it's just easier if I did it earlier. But yeah, that's my fault. That's not Craven's fault.
No, you're a family man, and I appreciate you coming on. I just thought the way that comment was worded sounds really annoyed that the time has changed. Miyamoto, I'm sorry. I scheduled this for 5 p.m. A little bit earlier than usual. So yeah, apologies, but probably will be 7 o'clock every week going forward as planned. Not your fault at all, Josh. It was mine. So what have we got? Next question. Ian Atterbury, one of the channel members, was just adding to this. Yeah, you got a point, Benson, but still a goal is a goal, and it doesn't need to be better than your initial goal. It just gives you a purpose to keep going. That's all. Yeah, I think if it's not, it doesn't have to be stacking. You could set a new goal in life, right? Goals are healthy in all walks of life. I think that's a good point to make. I did see another question. Where was it? Here we go. Right. So, Electric Bloke. Question for Josh. What's your favorite, gold, Brits, or sods? This question gets asked a lot. Good question.
Sovereigns. If you're looking at trying to get as much gold for your money, if you're looking at it as another way of saving money for the best return, sovereigns can be numismatic. It depends on which one you get. You've got a large variety of them. You've got them low premium because they're readily available. It's easier, I think, to break into an eight, nine. Well, they've gone really expensive now, haven't they? £800 or £900 sovereign if you're lucky enough to put that money into one. Then a £3,500, £4,000 gold Britannia. But then, having said that, if you're thinking about a quarter gold Britannia, then I did the calculation for it when it comes to it. I mean, if you're looking to use it as another way of saving as an alternative banking, then the premiums just don't make sense to me to use it for that strictly. But if you're collecting it as a, if you're stacking it and you're thinking long term and everything, and it's that's not the case, then they're great. They're lovely coins. They're really nice. There's a lot of security features with them. Often you will get people that will say, how do you tell it's a fake sovereign? And I'll go, yeah, to be fair, I'm going to have to weigh it. And if I can't weigh it, well, if I weigh it and it's right, and I'm still in doubt, you're going to have to consider XRF or a Sigma or something, and not everyone's got that. As a Gold Britannia, I've never seen a fake Gold Britannia. I'm still trying my best to try and find the most convincing fake Britannia, and I can't find one. But it is my mission to find someone. There's got to be someone out there that's trying to make it. But it just goes to show how secure Britannias are. There is no right or wrong with it. It's a preference. But there are a lot of replicated sovereigns. There's a lot of fake sovereigns out there. So, I mean, if you want a Britannia, you can't go wrong. It's a preference, really. But my preference would be sovereigns.
Yeah. And a quick point to add to that. I follow and I watched some of the videos from Chard's official YouTube channel. And Lawrence was talking through an order of, I think, 1,000 sovereigns that got in, which was from, I believe, an American supplier. And the reason I mention this is because even amongst, a shipment sent out from an American supplier, there was, out of those, I think, just under 1,000 gold sovereigns, there was it nearly 200, was it, that were, have I overdone that, or was it 20? I'm not sure, but there was a lot. I don't want to quote figures, guys, because it's not right to do, but there was, even in that sense, there was so many fakes, replicas of gold sovereigns, and it does make you think about it. And yeah, I'd be interested to see. I'm sure when that day comes, Josh, and you find the most realistic gold Britannia, fake replica, sure you'll share that on the channel of yours for everyone to see.
Oh, definitely. I had some. I should have brought it out, but I had some replicate. A lot of them. A lot of the fake gold and everything. They're really obvious if you spent a bit of time kind of looking. I mean, just weigh it or just buy from a genuine bullion dealer. But yeah, save yourself the headache. Don't go for as cheap as possible every time. Unless you know what you're doing. But yeah.
That's it. Good answer. I had this question off you last week, Ian, who says, question for Craven. Where do I buy some just for Craven? It's not on sale just yet, mate. We're working on the product, and I'll let you know. Likes to ask me when that product's coming out, does Ian? Here we go. Next question for you. So, East End Dave, Brits and Sovs says, just got home, so don't know if it's being asked about, but question for Josh. Are you a stacker or a collector, and why? No, it hasn't been asked in the Q&A section, so it's a good question.
Probably more so a collector. The thing is, I mean, if you really get to the nitty gritty of it, if you really think about weight stacking, you're going to be getting silver for the lowest possible premium as much as you possibly can, and whether that's going to be spoons, trinkets, antique silver, whatever you can get, you're going to be stacking it. That is going to be stacking. I mean, it's a term that we use because we understand. I mean, if you say that, are you a stacker or something, and you say yes, often people aren't going to be buying all of that. It's going to be, if you told me you was a stacker, I would assume, okay, you thinking about bullion, or you buying bullion coins, or silver coins, gold coins, whatever it might be. But it gives me a bit of an idea of that. But probably a collector. I mean, I've got collections. I buy what I enjoy. I've got a certain goal for like the foundation stack and other bits and pieces. I've kind of split it down, and I've got budgets for different pieces that I'm willing to put it into. But the collection side of things, I think I enjoy a bit more. So I mean, if you get something with a nice design or something, and it's something that I enjoy, then I'll get it. But it really comes down to why are you buying it? Why are you putting your money into it? If that's to invest, if that is to use it as an alternative way of putting money into a bank, then you're probably going to want to get the best bang for your buck, and you also want the best exit strategy. So from what we've seen, certainly with the cut off of the alloyed silver when it comes to the refineries, if you're looking at convenience, those are things you have to factor in. So to answer your question, going on a whim here, but probably a collector. But yeah.
Yeah, that's very fair. And this is a really good follow-up question to that, based on what you were saying about being a collector, Josh, from Queen Nessie, who says, question for Josh, is there any coin that you're after that you can't find for your collection? Is there that one thing out there that you really want, you haven't got yet as a collector?
So I was going to say this. I've got my eye on one. So I'm really big into lately. Another thing gone on my little journey in collecting coins and bits and pieces, but I'm really enjoying the Mexican stuff at the moment. I really enjoy the Mexican silver. I've got one here actually. I don't know if anyone has seen this, but
Show me the money.
Probably shown you, Craven, once or twice, but there is this is going to be, if you can see it, I'm sorry, it's a capsule on it, but I don't want to take it off, but it's the old school 1985 Libertad. And I've been collecting Mexican silver recently, and they're very tricky to come across. So I think, going on your question, what one I want, I really want to get it's not a Mexican coin. I've given all that story. It's not even a bloody Mexican coin. It's it's a Balboa. I really want a Balboa coin, but they're really tricky. I want to try and get a nice graded, not graded one, but a nice conditioned one. But they're either like a bit too expensive, or they're just really rubbish condition. I kind of want that middle. So I really want to get one of the Panama Balboa coins. It's like, I think it's 30 grams of silver or something. But it's a really nice coin. I like that one. That's next on my list.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I have to say, just from my own experience, the Mexican silver coins, they are stunning. Even just on the bullion side for a second here, we're all very familiar with the Mexican Libertad. That's a stunning bullion coin, and it's in my top three, that's for sure. But yeah, I don't see many Mexican coins, the more vintage ones, like you said, that contain the silver. I don't see many of them for sale. So yeah, the popularity with them must be quite the thing. I think a lot of people are after them.
Yeah. If you can get them, if you can get the old Libertad, they're always worth getting, because they hardly ever come up, and there's such a premium on them. I think they are the highest premium bullion coin from what I have seen. They always go over spot. If you can get them, keep them, hold them. I will buy it off you because I love them.
There you go, guys. If anyone's selling a bulk load of Mexican Libertads, drop Josh a message. There you go. Question for both of you. This is from Nerd UK, who says, once you start collecting crowns, half crowns, florins, talas, and the such, okay, is it normal to dress like a pirate and play with them while shouting "Jim, lad"? Do you know what? He's asking for a friend. I didn't see the end of it. I just started reading that innocently, like, oh, I'm liking where this is going. Josh, is it normal if you're buying, your pre-decimal and that sort of thing, to dress like a pirate and play with them while shouting "Jim"?
Well, I thought it was just me, but yeah.
Oh,
yes,
there
we go. I feel like I'm just giving one-word answers to Nerd's question. Yes. Next, yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Benson says, yeah, I've missed your question, Benson. We can't be having that, mate. Where is your question, guys? Let's find Benson's question. I'm so sorry, mate. I didn't see a question from you, Benson. Where is it? Here we go. Right. I do apologize, Benson. I did miss your question. It wasn't intentional. So we'll go back to that. Sorry, mate. Forgive me. Says, Josh, if you could put any of your own designs or ideas onto a coin or a piece of silver or gold, what would your design be? That's a great question from Benson.
that is a really good question. I think, I mean, I'd be terrible at doing a Britannia. That I'll follow up on that later, but I think I would probably. Oh God, that's such a hard thing. Um, I'd probably take what Scottsdale have done and then just edit it by just taking like a little thing out, because I think the vortex bars for me are my favorite bars. So
Yeah.
if I was to say my own favorite design, I will probably take the crown off it and say that's my design, because I think even with the crown off it, it's still stunning. But I think the Scottsdale stuff, they've got some incredible designers and everything. So I think that if I could, I'd probably just say I'd get the next design off Scottsdale Mint, and that will probably be as close as I could probably get. But yeah.
Yeah, you really can't go wrong with Scottsdale Mint. One of my favorite mints. I do have a couple of the 1 ounce Vortex bars. They're stunning. I'd love a 10 ounce. I'd love a kilo Vortex bar, but we can dream, can't we? But yeah, good question. And once again, sorry, Benson, that I missed that, mate. So we're up to date now on the chat there. Another question coming in from Nerd. And this time he says, question for Josh, have you heard of nerdbacks? And if you had your own, what would it look like? So have you heard of nerdbacks?
No, I've not. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Let me fill you in. So Nerd, being the creative person that he is, does lots of fantastic 3D printed pieces, boxes and the like. Recently, he has gone on a win and he's created something new, and they come in packs of 3. And it's essentially like a mix of your gold backs that we see and the Zombucks, like the silver backs that we see as well, with individual designs for certain characters within the space, content creators, people in the community. He's created an image of them and created individual gold backs or silver backs for different people, which are really cool. And he's put in 3 of each in packs called a nerd backpack. And they're available for people to sort of collect or trade within the community. They are really, really cool. So I guess similarly to like a gold back, this is another creative sort of question for you to think about, kind of like Benson's. If you had your own, what would it look like? I told you, you can have a think about my questions, but you really can't prepare for the live chat.
I think I don't know. I'd go boring. I'm going to say Britannia in a line because it's the first thing I see. I'm so sorry, no, but I'm just going to say a Britannia in a line on it. And MacDonald Bullion, I suppose, or Josh, either or.
Yeah, what would we say? A Josh back, MacDonald
Josh
back. There's got to be something in there somewhere. Yeah, that's good. Let's have a look. Tridell, hello all, back from a 50th birthday of a friend. Nice to enjoy a bit here, the live stream. Thank you for tuning in. We've also got 365 Days of Silver, the godfather of stacking. Thank you for tuning in, mate. Good to see you. Kalilo, talking about Libertads, we'll give this a shout out here, says, I'm giving away a free silver Libertad at my 500 subscriber giveaway. That's very generous, mate. And good luck getting to the 500. Benson with another question. Question for Craven. This one's for me. Craven, can you go back to my question for Josh? You missed out. Oh, no. So I've done that. We've done that one just before, haven't we? So that's okay. BBA, People's Champion, sharing the love there, as he always does. Like, share, and subscribe, people. Thank you, BBA. Really appreciate that. Right. So here we go. Got one for you. This looks like a lengthy one. This is from Jamie Frost, who says, Josh, do you agree with my statement? Gold sovereigns, you don't need to say gold, but if you're talking about Brits, Krugs, Eagles, etc., you should say mint coins, as in sovereign mint coins.
Yeah, I've seen. I think it's I don't really hear many people in the UK saying sovereign coins. I think it's like more so over in America that I hear that more so. But yeah, I suppose sovereigns, because we've seen silver sovereigns, which just absolutely blew my mind, because a sovereign to me is a gold coin. So, I suppose if you kind of differentiate in gold sovereigns, full sovereigns, if you say a sovereign, some people will say, well, is it a half? Is it a full? Well, a sovereign's a sovereign. So I suppose things have changed, haven't they? But yeah, I probably say, I'm just double checking you. Yeah. Yeah, mint coins. I think it's like, if I was to say it, do you say it? Like I would just say, I suppose Britannia. But if I said Britannia to anyone that wasn't in this space, they'd probably be like, "What?" But I mean, when you say it to, like, if I was to say about Britannia, you think, okay, Britannia coin, or if I
Yeah,
differentiate it, say it's silver or gold, then you'll know. But
I've never thought
um,
about it, and the reason being is yes, we speak in this space often, and I would just say like a Britannia. I wouldn't necessarily say like the sovereign mint coins as such, and I don't have these conversations with people outside of this space. If
mm,
I'm somewhere public, or I don't know, if I'm at the pub or something, I don't talk about all this. I'm sure not many of us do. It's quite a private thing. So I hadn't really thought about that. It's a good question. It's a question we've never had. What you're saying, Jamie, is correct. There's obviously a correct term to use for those, but I mean, I don't really ever use that personally. Yeah, don't know what else to say, but it's interesting. Gets you thinking. Thank you for that, Jamie. We've got a question from 365 for you, Josh. Always loved your channel. Do you plan to do any more interview style videos? Yes, you've done plenty of them. They are brilliant.
where is it that you want me to go? Is, I suppose, the question. I think it's tricky, isn't it? Because it's I enjoy going and speaking and doing it. There's a lot of preparation, I suppose, that goes into it, because it's finding the days of businesses and owners and things like that. It can be a bit tricky. I've got nothing at the moment, but I mean, if you let me know kind of what you want to see, and something, then I can always consider it. But I have enjoyed them. It's can be just a little bit tricky at times, but I'm glad that some people like them, they enjoy them, because I think it was something we didn't really see too often in the UK. We see it, like, I took the inspiration from the US videos, because I just thought that, wouldn't it be great if we had this information, but in a UK space? Because although it's great learning about it and seeing the points of views from the people over the pond, it's a very, although there's a lot of similarities, there's a lot of it's a different market. There's different ways of doing it. With silver, we've got more costs and things like that, so things are different slightly. So I suppose, to answer your question, 365, I don't have anything set in stone really, but I mean, if there's people that want me to go somewhere, I'm all ears. I'll always consider it, and I do enjoy them. It's just, it can be a bit tricky to balance out everything at the moment. And but I'm glad that the people, yourself, 365, you enjoyed it, so I'm pleased about that. So thank you.
Yeah, I also enjoyed watching those videos, and I do actually have. It's not to put you on the spot, but I do have a suggestion for you to consider. And this is one fairly local to me, my, I suppose, local antique store. You could at some point, I'd love to see you visit Gary at the Coin Exchange and see what deals you can pick up. So one to consider for the future. Do you think that could ever be a possibility for you?
Yeah, yeah. So I'll head over. I'll have to see where it is and see how long it would take. I'm sure I can make spare the time at some point. But yeah, I would love to.
And make sure you take a bag of knickknacks so you can bribe him for a better deal. That worked for me. If he starts getting
Yeah,
people turning up with knickknacks, though, I think you get quite annoyed at me. So,
I'll give him some
yeah.
skips or something else,
Oh,
and yeah,
now you're talking. They may get the real discounts. But yeah, brilliant. Good question, 365. Let's have a few more here, guys. We're getting closer to the live giveaway. I am going to be bringing back Little John's Wheel of Wonder for you. So we'll bring that shortly. But Nerd's back with a question for both of you from Mini Nerd. Oh, okay. So how many coins do you both have, and what is your favorite? His is the crown he robbed from Grandad. Good choice. Can't go wrong with a crown. Do you
No.
want to go first on that one?
It's such a trick. It's going to be a Morgan dollar, but I haven't got a Morgan dollar in my little pot of. I call it my little pot of rubbish, but it's not rubbish. It's silver in it, but it's. I'd probably say a Morgan dollar. I love the Morgan dollars. It's a timeless design. Only really become popular, I think, mainly sort of post the '60s and everything. But it's a Wild West dollar. It's a cowboy dollar. It's the dollars that you see in all the old films and everything. It's a timeless design. We don't see them as often here. I'm sure if we saw them so much, it probably wouldn't be the same thing. But Morgan dollars, they're really beautiful coins. 90% silver coins, 26 grams. It's a cowboy coin. It's really cool. It's cool to me anyway. It might not be for anyone else, but I think it's awesome.
Absolutely. And I absolutely love the Morgan dollars, the peace dollars, both the same in terms of silver content and weight. The peace dollar coming shortly after. They're both beautiful. But I have to say, maybe a bit biased, but I really do quite like the Gothic florin. I have a couple of Gothic florins. I think the Gothic design is stunning. 925 silver, obviously a historic British coin. That would probably be right up there for me. But great question, and thank you for the question, Mini Nerd. Something green, shiny, and everything has come up on my screen and distracted me. What is this? Cy the Sound Man gifted 5 stacking with Craven channel membership. Cy, thank you so much. You did not need to do that. Really appreciate your support. Thank you so much, mate. That's very, very kind. Yeah, what else can I say? Legend. Thank you. So, and whenever this happens, Josh, this big, bright, beaming green line on my screen, I always lose track of where I am. So sorry, guys. Give me a second. I'm bringing silver back. Says question for Josh. Ooh, what's your thoughts on Agoro? Sorry, have I said that right? Agoro for collectibles.
I think is it Goro?
Agoro? Yeah, Agoro. I'm not sure the exact pronunciation, but we all know who they are, and they're getting more and more popular. What are your thoughts on them?
Were they the New Zealand men? Am I right in saying? Were they New Zealand? Or are they slightly different? Even so, they're incredible. I mean, the collectibles they've got, it really is incredible. It's nice to see the innovation and things that they have got into that market if you're interested in it, because we've seen, I mean, if you look at the collectors market in everything, whether it's comic books or Pokemon cards or something, there is a market certainly for this space for that, and they are going into that. Not to say that I've got the funds to do that, because it's a specific market for the Ogoro stuff. They are really stunning pieces. They are they're very expensive. I think the trading cards in itself was I think they're about £400 a box or something like that. It's not cheap, but if you can afford it and you're interested in that side of the market with it, they are probably one of the most beautiful premium pieces that you can buy. So I think they're stunning. It's just not something I would buy just because I probably can't afford £400 to buy on the trading cards. But they're stunning nonetheless. Yeah, they're stunning.
I share the same view as you on that. They are stunning. Although I haven't ever purchased any, I have sat there thoroughly enjoying them being like ripped and unboxed on Cobra Stacker's lives, where he has loads of them, and people will obviously, like an auction style, people will buy the boxes and then they'll actually be ripped straight away live for everyone to see. And although I don't own it, I find that very, very exciting, and they are stunning. And I think because there's that element of chance with it as well, you can get some stunning pieces, and in some cases like gold as well, so you can do really well. But it's definitely for the collectors that see the value in that. But it's a great question. I'll quick fire these few questions, Josh, if that's okay, just to get through a few more, just to catch up with the chat. So maybe more of a quick fire question, but this one's from East End Dave, Brits and Starves. Question for Josh: what gold and silver channels do you watch, and what's your favorite? That's a tough question.
Yeah, that is a good question. I like watching Tim in Yankee channels, Yankee Stacking's channel. I like watching Tim. I think he's got a very grounded opinion. Somewhat, I agree with a lot of what he says. Some things I disagree with, but I enjoy that. I enjoy the sort of shop style videos. So I watch Harry's ones as well from Silver Dragons. That's a really interesting one. So I'd probably say those two are the ones that I enjoy, the shop related videos, which is why I did the videos here, which probably inspiration copying from those guys over there. But I love those videos. I think they're really interesting to see what people's thoughts are, because you get such a varied opinion.
Me too. I love watching those videos. I also love making them. The few videos I've made where I've made those trips and recorded what I can and made a video out of it. It's so much fun. Definitely more availability across the pond in the US with local coin stores and stuff. Not so much here, unfortunately. So when you find a good one, it's very valuable to build that relationship with like an antique store or local coin dealer in the UK. So Icefire Collection, what is both your favorite collectible piece and what is your most expensive collectible piece? Ooh. I'm not sure on the second part. What's the most expensive? Some of them are very similar. Do you have an answer for
that? I think a favorite collectible piece. I suppose if we're talking, my favorite would be. I mean, at the moment, I'm enjoying sort of the Mexican coin, so I really like the older Libertads. So I suppose that kind of fits in it. I know it's a bullion coin, but it's really nice. And I suppose the most expensive, maybe Sovereign. But that's not so much a collection. That's more of a invested in gold. I don't know, but hopefully that fits.
Yeah.
Nonetheless,
it depends how you view it with the Sovereign. I suppose there's obviously that numismatic value as well. Certainly with some of the older ones, and I'd say the same. Probably a gold Sovereign for me, and my most expensive collectible, if you want to call it that. I didn't buy it as a collectible. I got it because it was a blimmin' good deal, and I got it from Cobra Stacker. And that was a 1964 gold Sovereign, which has the, I think it's the Mary Gillett portrait of Queen Elizabeth on, which is stunning, in really good condition. So that'll be my answer. It's really, really nice. So yeah, and TSC, good to see you, mate. Thanks for stopping in. Did answer the question we had before. I'm sure there were a few in the audience that also knew. I know Nerd really likes Isagaro, but yes, there used to be New Zealand Mint, rebranded as Agaro or Agoro. I'm sure I'm getting that wrong, so apologies for collectibles. So yeah, thank you for confirming that. A few more questions, if that's okay, Josh, and then we will move to the wheel. How's that sound?
Yeah, all good with me.
Okay, perfect. Queen Nessie says, question for Josh. Can you tell us the history of the rocking horse coin? Oh, yeah.
Do you know what?
Here is a prop.
I feel like it's probably going to be controversial, but it's my least favorite crown. The rocking horse crown. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't even know the history of it. I don't know why they changed that for that year. Because they stopped the crowns. I think was it 1902 they stopped the crowns. I want to say I might have that completely wrong, but the rocking horse one, I haven't got one. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm going against everyone here, but yeah, I don't know why. I think I've just always kind of preferred the reef. I think it's the reef crown of the 30s. I think they're proof coins.
Yeah.
With George, and I've always wanted one of them, but they're so expensive. I think you can get one for a couple £100, £200 or £300 maybe, but it's a lot of money. But yes. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't like the rocking horse crowns.
Well, it may not be for everyone. This is why it's always good to discuss. I personally do love it. 1935 rocking horse crown. 50% silver. And I mean, look, if TSC is still in the house, he's the man here. I'm not quite up to date, but TSC, if you are still here, mate, there is no one better to answer Queen Nessie's question than yourself. If you are, I'd love it if you could put a comment telling people about the history of the rocking horse crown, because there truly would be no one better than yourself to answer that. So, right, we're getting some questions here now. Right, quick fire. See if you can quick fire this in like 5 seconds. You ready? 3, 2, 1. East End Dave question: what's your 5 favorite pieces? Go.
It's going to be all Scottsdale. Vortex, St. Michael's, Peacock, Britannia, Sovereign.
Pretty good. Pretty good. It's hard when you're under pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, 5 on 5 seconds.
Yeah. I'll give you a break for a sec to read some comments. Side the Soundman says the design of the dragon on the rocking horse crown makes the coin look strange. From a distance, it looks like the Arabic writing rather than a dragon. I get what you mean. I do understand what you're saying. That is fair to say. I still think it's a really nice coin, though, nonetheless. Got a comment here from Idiot Sandwich Guy. That's an interesting username. Stacking changed my life, 36 now, and for the first time, I'm debt-free and saving for my future. Thank you for sharing that comment. I love to hear stuff like that. That's really, really good. Well done to you. Really
Yeah,
is.
that's incredible.
Yeah, 100%. I honestly love that kind of stuff. And I'm seeing if we've got any more questions for you before we move to the wheel. We have a comment here from 365 who says, I only bought a rocking horse crown after everyone was banging on about them. They are actually quite nice in the hand. Yes, they are. They absolutely are.
Yeah, I will get one. I will get one. I will probably not want to in the moment, but yeah, I trust you all. I will get one.
You've come off this. You've been forced to buy a coin you don't like.
No, I know. Yeah.
Give the people what they want.
Absolutely.
I was about to end the Q&A, guys, but a question came in at the final bell. Let's read this from Crispy Shiny Things, one of the channel members. So, question: do you have a nemesis coin, i.e., one which costs too much for what it is, but you would have difficulty not buying? That's a good question.
That's tricky. A nemesis coin. Do you have a nemesis coin?
I
think
like.
the thing.
No.
The thing for me is, I think if I like it, I'll probably get it. Whether it's something that's a terrible, if I'm going to be picking up something that, I don't know, has a huge premium onto it, then that could be seen it's not worth for what it is. But what it means to me is I probably really enjoy it and I like it and I've kept it for me, and it's not something that I'm looking at doing to make money off or something. If anything, I'm having it because I enjoy it. But I mean, to say a specific coin, I suppose, I mean, if you looked at sort of the fractional pieces, if you're paying more for more over the premiums, to a lot of people paying that is not going to be an option because they're into silver to invest and use it as another way. I enjoy it because I like the coins. I think they're beautiful. So I think for me, it's tricky to say for something that's worth it because it depends on the enjoyment that you get out of it. It really depends on the person. But I suppose if you're looking at it from a premium standpoint, then maybe those coins. But I mean, I like them. If I like it, I'll probably get it, which is probably not a great thing. But it is what it is.
It's okay to do, though, and this is a discussion we have often. Not every single decision we make on this stacking journey is the optimal value purchase. There is the hobby side, which is important. We enjoy doing this. We buy stuff because we like them. That's simply the rationale. I bought this because it looks nice. I like it. Yes, I've probably paid a bit of a premium, and it's more than what the metal's worth by quite a bit, but makes you happy, and that's the collector, the hobby side, that enjoyment coming out within us, and I think that's okay. And in a lot of cases, as I've said recently, it's adding flavor to your stack, which is good. Now, the stack collector was still here, and he's very kindly put a detailed message in for anyone wondering the history of the 1935 Rocking Horse Crown. So let's read this. The 1935 Rocking Horse Crown was the first commemorative coin ever issued by the Royal Mint. It was minted to celebrate the Silver Jubilee of King George, I believe that's the 5th. It showed an art decoration interpretation of... Have I got the full comment or not? I don't think I can see the full comment, on StreamYard. I think, TSC, if you've written like a really long explanation and that's all I can see, I'm so sorry. That's all I can see. But if you guys in the comments on YouTube itself can read the rest. There you go. It looks like a really detailed answer, and I expected nothing less from TSC. So thank you, mate. That's amazing. But yeah, you definitely have to pick yourself up at one. Right. He did another comment. So here we go, guys. I'm getting there. George, yes, slaying the dragon as designed by Percy Metcalf and was minted to 714,000. Yeah, there you go. TSC, your memory of all the different artists and it's crazy. It's very, very impressive. So thank you for that. Right, there is more questions, but guys, I'm going to respectfully call the Q&A there. We're going to move over to the wheel. I've got Josh for 2 hours today, and we've got just a little over 5 minutes left. So I'm going to respect that, and we're going to move to the wheel. Are you ready for the wheel, Josh? The exciting little John's Wheel of Wonder. Guys, I haven't even shown you what you can win. Bear with me. I'm just going to get this ready. So I had a little practice run of this before, so this should work. Right, yeah, I've got this ready. So I do have a wheel ready. And don't forget, guys, let's just remove this off the screen. There we go. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Members get automatic entry every week. The list has already been confirmed. People that did put the magic phrase, which was free Little John on the correct post, are in the giveaway. And Josh, before the end, before you go, I will be asking you for a phrase for next week. It can be anything you want. Just it could be a word, a phrase, and that'll be what people will put on a post to enter the giveaway who aren't already, channel members. So I'm going to quickly show what's up for grabs really quick. So if you haven't seen already, we have got plenty of these courtesy of Dan at Cardiff Gold, guys. This is a Cardiff Gold care package, which includes 2 poker chips, one of which, I'll get these out. Got to show you these. We love poker chips. One of which is the brand new Cardiff Gold poker chip. There, you can scan that. It'll take you to their website. There is occasionally deals you can get using that QR link there. And also, of course, Stacker Social poker chip as well in there from Dan. And there's a QR code there as well to join Stacker Social if you're not in already. Don't worry, it would not be a Cardiff Gold package without the world's #1 pen, which is here. Josh, quick question. Do you have one of these pens, mate? Do you have one of these in your collection?
So I do, and not to Dan's not paying me or anything, but it's the best pen you'll ever use in your life. If you don't have one, get one, and if you don't have one, you're missing out, basically. So absolutely,
they write absolutely beautiful. I don't know about you, but I've found from my experience using the Cardiff Gold pen, they're really robust as well. I've been using the same one from the start. It's no dints, nothing. Still really shiny. Amazing.
Yeah, and somehow it's you don't need any ink; it just refills itself. Flawless writing, it's incredible. I
noticed the exact same thing. It's crazy. I'd love to know who his supplier is. Amazing.
Right. he gives them he just gives them to you. What a gift as well. Yeah. So thanks, Dan. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. That's brilliant. Right, guys, I'm going to quickly show you the stickers you can get that are part of the giveaway bundle. So we have the sorry about the camera here. Little John SWC limited edition sticker. We have, this is from Ice and Fire, 2-sided, beautiful design there with the fire and the ice, like a business card type thing. We have Queen Nessie's sticker right there. That's really nice. You will also get, these are in a mixed order, sorry, so you may see some other things. Ice and Fire collection sticker. You'll also see Seolfor Hordian sticker as well. That's really nice. What have we got? We've got plenty of these to give out, courtesy of Brits and Sovs. One of the smaller Brits and Sovs logo stickers, guys. Same again. He has a different logo. Brits and Sovs. This here, so 365, the anonymous man with a bag on his head and a question mark because we don't know what he looks like, holding some silver bars, 2-sided, lovely business card. That's in there for you as well. And then some bigger versions, Brits and Sovs. And once again, Brits and Sovs. And this is also a sticker from, get a bit closer there, Ice and Fire. Might be upside down, sorry, it is. The lovely heart. There we go. Lovely. We have got some metals. We've also got, courtesy of Brits and Sovs, very generous, sent me so much stuff a while ago. I'm still giving it out. It's like a merch bag, guys. So in here, you will get a Stack of Social key fob, Stack of Social bottle opener, and there's also a Stack of Social like rubber wristband, I suppose you'd call it. So that's in there. Couple of poker chips. So you've got Ice and Fire's poker chip, two-sided Ice Fire collection. That is lovely. We have Queen Nessie's poker chip, two-sided there with a sticker of a hairy Q. Love to see that. And limited edition Stack of Social 2K poker chip, Brits and Sovs edition. That's really cool. They are in there. Now, last but not least, guys, we have some metals. It wouldn't be a giveaway without. Thank you to everyone that sent these in. I've actually put something in on top of it myself for this week. So first up, thank you to the people that donate. We have sorry about the lighting, guys. How's this? You have to let me know, Josh, on my eyes. It's a copper round, which has a dragon. So this is Year of the Dragon, 3/9 fine. It's from the Golden State Mint. It's Year of the Dragon, 1 ounce of fine copper. Sorry about the lighting, guys. It's normally a bit darker in this room, so you can see it better. But I love on the back there. I absolutely love that design. The copper is a stunning metal. It truly is. 1 ounce of copper is in there for the winner. Also, now there's fractional, Josh. We spoke about it. There's also hyperfractional. This little silver bar here, ladies and gentlemen, this is 5 grains. So there you go. It's 5 grains of silver. I just think that's quite cute, but that was very kindly chucked in by Ice and Fire. And lastly, this is what I'm chucking in as a little additional on top. I'm not going to get it out the pack. Let's get this central the right way up. So this is half a franc. The camera, I think my camera's mirrored today, so I'm holding it the wrong way to try and show you. You're probably not going to see that, maybe, but it's half a franc, guys. And this is dated. There's the date on this to tell you. It's the 1908. I believe this is 80% silver. I'm going to say, if you know, put it in the comments. Extra points for that. But yeah, absolutely stunning. That's in there. I think it's about 3 grams maybe of 800 silver. I'm not sure, but it's a nice little vintage silver coin that will be in there for you. So that is what you can win. And now we're going to move to the wheel. I've got everyone's names ready. I just need to add in this. Let's hope I don't break anything. We're going to go off screen for a second, Josh. Yeah.
I was just going to say, I'll put something in the pot as well. It's not much, but I've got a 46 half crown. It's nice. It's a nice condition one, so I'll throw that in. Whoever does win, it's a nice coin. If you can, just send me a message on Discord, or just let me know. I'll give you my email or something, and then I'll send that out.
Oh, have you got that there still? Sorry, because firstly, that's really kind. I'll full screen you so people can see. That's really generous. Thank you so much, mate. 1946, so that's in one of the last 2 years where it was still 50% silver. Is that right?
Yeah, 50%. It's a half crown. It's a nice condition one. So yeah, whoever does win it, you'll have to. If you've got Discord, then you can send me a message on Discord. Whoever does win. If not, then I'll give you my email and then I'll post it to you somewhat this week.
That's really kind. There you go, guys. Everything I mentioned, and in 1946 half crown, which is 50% silver, I believe, 14.14 grams of 50% silver. So that's really generous. So let's find out the winner. Guys, you're asking if you're on the list. You can see your names on there. I'm hoping this is clear enough. This is as good as I can get it on here for you. And we're going to spin this now, but everyone is on there. If you are a member, which I think Benson was asking, you are, mate. You're automatically in the giveaways. If not, then you need to comment the magic phrase on the correct post. Otherwise, you will not be in the giveaways. So, Josh, can you give us a good luck for everyone and count us down? I will spin this wheel and we'll find out the winner.
Yes. Good luck, everyone. We'll go in 3, 2, 1.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Little John's Wheel of Wonder has been spun. Now we must wait for approximately 60 seconds for this to slow down. Little John's getting very dizzy. I wish every single one of you the best of luck. And just while it's spinning, if you haven't already, 46 of you currently tuned in live. If you're enjoying this show, I am live weekly, usually at 7 p.m. Hit the like button for me and subscribe if you haven't already. Josh, the wheel is slowing down. Who's it looking like? I can see some names coming round. It's a little Silver Strag Stacker, 4006. It could be Benson. Looks like it's going past Benson. Stigma. Israeli coins. Surely not. Nessie. Nessie has been winning everything recently. Surely not. You haven't done it again, have you, Queenie? Is it going to be Villainous Bounty or Queen Nessie? Oh, it's so close. It's Queen Nessie again.
Wow.
I think that's I think that's 5 giveaways in like the last week that Queen Nessie's won. Wow. Amazing. Well, that works well. I've already got something to send you, Queen Nessie, from on Diaxis. So amazing. Well done. Let me change the screen here and let's get us back on there, mate. Queen Nessie, massive well done. Deserved winner, member of the channel. Commiserations to everyone that didn't win, but there's always a chance next week. So, right, we're going to wrap this up now, Josh. Thank you so much for your time today. As always, my friend, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you and just asking you all the questions, and it really has. I'd like to ask you before you go, do you have a question, as tradition, for next week's special guest? And I'm going to let you know, guys, next week, live at 7 p.m., as we always are, it's going to be a special one. I have got a 4-way panel. So this question, Josh, is going to be asked to my 3 special guests. What's the question?
So I wrote this down because last time I'm terrible when I'm put on the spot like it, but I wrote it down. So I'm going to say, if you could redesign the Britannia design on a coin, on the Britannia coin, would you change it or would you leave it untouched? And if you do, there are bonus points if they come up with their own design.
Ooh, bonus points. Well, great question. I will certainly put that to them and see what they say. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in today. That is a wrap for episode 35, Sundays with Craven. I hope you've enjoyed. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Still a good few hours to go. And I hope you take some good momentum into next week. Go and smash all your goals and have a great time. And on that note, guys, I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.